Welcome to Va-Dor's Touch of Torah this Tuesday, May 23rd. And with us, we have Rabbi Barry Silver. This week, we're coming up with Shavuot. So we kind of jump around a little bit in the Torah, and Rabbi's going to be doing the Ten Commandments, which is Exodus, and the Parsha is called Yitro. Take it away, Rabbi.
Thank you very much, Sharon. I will discuss Yitro and share some things about the Ten Commandments tonight. And then I will also be doing so this Friday night. So if you'd like to hear a little more, you can tune in on Friday night. The passage containing the Ten Commandments actually occurs twice, one in Exodus, and then it also occurs in Deuteronomy. That's a problem for the literalists because there's differences between the two. So they have trouble explaining if God wrote the Bible and gave the Ten Commandments to Moses, as they like to believe, how is it possible that there were two different versions of the Ten Commandments? Well, if you have an irrational mind, you can come up with any excuse. So the explanation given is that he gave both at the same time. Imagine a legal system where the legislature passes two different laws that contradict each other at the same time. Like, is that really the best you can come up with? But in any event, the Ten Commandments are viewed and regarded throughout the world as a great statement of morality and trying to elevate society. And it's a Jewish document. We should take great pride in the Ten Commandments and the fact that other people, Christians, Muslims, have seen fit to try to pattern their life after this great moral teaching. Many Jews overplay their hand a little bit. They want you to believe that the Jewish people introduced morality into the world. Like before the Ten Commandments, people were killing each other and robbing each other and committing adultery. And then the Jews came along and said, wait, these things aren't right. That is not how it happened. Any civilization that was robbing from each other and killing each other and committing all these other acts, they never would have survived. They all had moral codes. In fact, the Ten Commandments is patterned after moral codes from before, from Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Persians. And so you can't say we created a moral code and there was no morality. No, but here's what you can say. You can say that the moral code of the Jewish people was the center of our people's being, that it wasn't just some side ephemeral issue where we focus more on like making a lot of money or celebrations. The moral code for Jews was front and center. And it went beyond what the other codes prescribed. And by that I mean, the Jewish moral code believed in equality for all people. The crime that you commit, the punishment tends to be the same for all people, regardless of who committed it and who the victim is. Now, in other cultures, it was very different. If a person of high status did something to a person of low status, even murder, they could get away with it in some moral codes. And a person of low status, he was going to get the short end of the stick in the law. But the Bible, Ten Commandments, and the other commandments, there's another 603 according to the calculations of the traditionalists. They require that everyone be the same and that you not bend over backwards to favor the poor or the rich. That's a difference. They did, however, continue to have rules of authorizing slavery. So it wasn't nearly as advanced as we are today. And it's also not something that we would ever want to model our laws after. It was a first step, not a last. So there's a passage in the Torah that discusses how you go about selling your daughter into slavery in order to make ends meet. There's also passages about how you should treat slaves. And so it doesn't even say there's anything wrong with it. It condones it. And that's why the people in the Bible Belt use the Bible to support slavery and genocide, etc. So what we do at Va-Dor, we try to look at everything objectively. Some Jews will say, we brought morality to the world. Others will say, the Jewish people don't contribute anything to the world. All it is like certain foods that we eat. It's somewhere in between. We focused on morality, we shared it with the world, and we have a legal code that was more advanced than others. I'll give you another example. It's not only that people are treated the same, whether you're a victim or the perpetrator. They also gave a day of rest to everyone, including your slave, your servant, your animals. We don't have anything like that today. And in the South, when they had slavery, there's no day of rest. There's no compassion shown. And so some people say that it's not really fair to even equate the slavery of the Bible with the slavery in the South. The South considered people who were slaves to be a commodity. They were like a chair. If you wanted to, you could destroy it or kill it for whatever reason. They had absolutely no rights. You could treat them in the most cruel, vicious manner possible and split up families. The Torah wasn't as advanced as we'd like, but they had rules and regulations regarding slavery, which if you think about it, they were more advanced 3,000 years ago than the United States was about 170 years ago. So we can take pride in that. And the Jewish people has set a moral tone. We started with the Ten Commandments and the Torah, but we've evolved way, way, way past that. And so we've always been a step ahead, and we've always been, some people consider us to be the conscience of the world. And that's why fascists like to go after Jews, because they don't want any society to be troubled by their conscience. And if they can get rid of the Jewish people, then they've gotten rid of a lot of their opposition and protests and a call for compassion and mercy. So that's the essence of the Ten Commandments. I think everybody's familiar with them. And I will say that Alan and Gloria are honoring one of the commandments that says, honor your father and mother. Alan's here and he's here with his mom. And so the two of them are demonstrating a belief in the Ten Commandments by doing that. It's really nice to see parents and kids getting along, especially in the month of Mother's Day. So